Hey everybody, so right then, what we're going to need then today to do our feeding is, I tend to use just a clear bowl, nice clear plastic bowl. I need a piece of aluminium foil, or aluminium, however you guys want to say it, tin foil, you need a piece of this, and obviously a kettle full of hot water, not boiling water because it will just get messy. So what we're going to do is to start with, you're going to pour your boiling water straight into your tub. With nothing in it, just on its own, just fill that up nicely. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take our foil that we've got, shiny side up, and we're just going to cover over the top. Just going to cover over the top of this. Now, I will say this is for more 2 or 3 snakes. I would have said really. You can do it for multiple snakes, but for my collection, this method is a bit small. I need it on such a bigger scale. But for you new keepers, perfect. Perfect to make sure that they feed nicely. It'll keep the rodent at just the right temperature. And what you're creating is, it's creating barbecue really. It's basically what it is, you're creating a barbecue. But I found this way, I've gone through many methods, but I found this is the easiest way to warm them up without making them wet. And half the time, snakes do not like wet rodents. So now we've got this set up, we've got us water, we've got us foil on top. I'm just going to grab 2 rodents and then I'll show you where to go from there. Right then, we have our 2 rodents here. At the minute we're going to be doing some large weaners, just for some of my hatchlings. So again, I apologise to anybody which is watching this and is feeling a little bit uncomfortable. It is to teach new keepers how to look after their babies and how to feed them, and a way of heating them up. Not the only way, just a way. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our tongs. These are not reptile tongs, by the way. I did have reptile tongs, but they just snapped, believe it or not. So we're going to put these on. Now, these rodents I left to thaw out overnight because they are frozen. So leave them to thaw out overnight, and that way they'll come out a hell of a lot better in the morning when you come to doing this. If you try and take them straight from the freezer, straight into hot water, you'll find that it just gets messy. It's not a nice thing, and sometimes your snakes won't even touch it when it's in that kind of condition. So we'll get rid of that. Obviously when you're messing around with your rodents and moving things like this, if you're not wearing gloves, you want to be using this. Wash your hands, get some of this on you. Especially, I tend to use this before handling each and every individual snake. It just stops the infections and mites and anything possible like that. If you're washing your hands in between snakes, if anything should happen to your collection, it's going to be less likely to happen to all your collection. So right then, as we were saying, what we're doing is it's not the nicest, but we're barbecuing. That's it, we're going to keep rotating over the mouses just on this foil now until they get to a nice warm temperature. One way to check the temperature is to put a glove on, and basically if it's too hot to hold in your hands, it's going to burn the snake. It's pretty much an easy way to test it out. The other way is if you have a actual sensor heater, which I do somewhere. So after searching for a little bit, I did find my gun. It should have been to hand, but things get misplaced. But anyway, what you want to do is, you want to just check your gun. 32 degrees, 30 degrees these rats. 28, 27. It's a nice temperature. You don't want it too hot, you don't want it too cold, because they just won't be interested. If your rodent's too cold, if you're seeing your snake, go up to the rodent, sniff loads, but not actually go for any strikes or anything. Usually your rat's just too cold. That's all it is. It knows it wants it, but it's not sensing the fact that it's there to get, really, because they sense via heat. So if you're getting that, more often than not, it's just a little bit too cold, and that's about it. Another thing when it comes to feeding, a lot of snakes, if you feed your snake and you notice that it takes it, but as it takes it, pulls it into the water dish, take the rodent and the snake out of the water dish, because if it's absolutely soaked, more often than not, it'll grab it, and even if you've seen it grab it, if it's grabbed it and put it in the water bowl, it'll just leave it, because it don't want absolutely soaked wet through rodents. So they leave it for that principle as well. Another thing worth noting is, if you're looking for some kind of amazing method because your ball python isn't eating right now, that's a ball python, unfortunately. Not all, but a lot of them are very picky eaters. The one thing I would say, if your ball python is a hatchling and it's not eating, don't leave it too long. I would have said you can assist feed, but I wouldn't recommend anybody going and doing that unless you know somebody that knows how to do it and can show you firsthand. I would have said just go to the vets with a hatchling, a baby. If it's an adult and it's off its feed, don't be too concerned. It can go for quite a while without any food. The main thing for me would be watch to see that it's not, if it's off its food, should I say, and also the signs of something different, like if it's distressed in any other way, if its saliva in its mouth is extra thick, for instance, that could be a sign of a respiratory infection. Or, you know, there's a lot of other underlying issues. So if you notice that your animal isn't eating as well as there's something else going on, go to the vets. That's it, just go to the vets. If it's just not eating because it's not eating but everything else is absolutely fine, if you're checking the weight of your snake and it's not even really dropping at all or changing in weight, then it's absolutely fine. But I would definitely just keep an eye on it. If you're ever concerned and you're not too sure, go to the vets. Just go to the vets. I've done it with mine when I wasn't sure, and I'd rather go pay some money and then turn around and say, look, there's nothing wrong with it, than something be an issue. But we're just having just a chat anyway to you guys whilst these are heating up a little bit, really. Making sure, because you want to make sure that they're thawed the whole way through and they're hot the whole way through and not just on one side. Well, we'll keep checking these now. So I'll show you obviously the one method of the heat gun to check. Now they look at a good heat now, so they're alright. I'll just get a glove from up here and I'll show you guys the other way that I would check, so you can get an idea of the different methods that we use here. So you're just going to want to put on a glove, pick up the rodent, hold it in your hands, and if it feels a nice lukewarm temperature and not too hot, not too cold, it's probably about right. Right then, so now these are quite warm and they should be ready to go now. We're going to try to go ahead and feed. Now, no promises, we might have one which just doesn't want to eat in general. Like I said, this is an idea for how to heat your rats up. Doesn't mean that they're going to go for them every time. That's like I say, it's a ball python. But let's have a go and see who's going to take today. Let's see if the banana's interested in taking a meal today. Come on, there you go, there you go. A little bit of wiggling. You can see it, lady. Come on. Cause a bit of rustling on the paper there. See if we can entice her. Go on. She took her time, but when she decided, so she got a nice grip there. She got more legs than head, and she's kind of curled around the body nice and tightly at least. So she's got a good grip. She's nowhere near the water ball. If it goes in the water ball, I pull it out because they don't like wet rats. So that's absolutely perfect. On to the next one. See if GHI is interested. GHI is just chilling on his heat cable at the minute. Well, on the heat cable. This guy, go on. I'll give you a better grip on that, mate. Like, is that better for you? Yeah, go on. See, they do like a little bit of movement, not a lot of movement, just a little bit. This has been our pickiest snake. She has been since the day we purchased her. She never really goes for strike feeds or anything like that. She has always just been a lay it in and leave it for her type of snake. So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to lay it in there and leave it for her. We're just going to gently pull this out and show you guys that Firefly, one of my favourites, even though we had to put it in the box and just leave it in there, She isn't an aggressive strike feeder. She does prefer just to be past it and left alone. And then when she's ready, she'll just do what she needs to do. So this is where I've got to entice him. He's currently just hidden in this coconut up here that you can see. He's just wrapped up all in there, all 3 foot of him nearly, or 2 foot of him. There we go, there we go. What a beauty steak this is. Seen it, haven't you? Whoa! Woo-hoo! Now this is a carpet python, a boreal species. So this thing can quite happily take its meal and hold it up there, suspended in air. It'll more often than not, it'll grab it back up and it'll eat it now. Which is just weird. Look at how angry it looks. Such an aggressive eater, but so strong in the way that they do it. To be able to hold half his body in there, hold the rat and everything else and eat it in mid-air is just, it's amazing.